think family offices are only for billionaires? That's what most people assume, and they are dead wrong. Sure, the Rockefellers and Bezos of the world have teams managing their fortunes, but what if I told you that the same principles could work for everyday business owners like you? Today, I'm going to walk you through how to build your own version of a family office to grow wealth, cut taxes, and create a legacy that lasts. Let's dive into it. So before we kind of go too deep, I just want to talk about what is a family office. It's important to understand the core concept of what this idea of a family office is. And I like to say a family office is kind of like a CEO level approach to managing wealth. It's about organizing your financials, putting strategies in place to protect those financials, the wealth you've built, you've created, as well as build upon that wealth that you've already created to create generation wealth for generations to come. And so that's kind of what a family office does, is they look high level and manage all the activity going on within your life, within your investments, within your businesses, everything else. They organize that all for you, and then they put strategies in place to implement and to get to various things that you want to go to down the road. Now, when we think of a family office, traditionally you're talking about a family with at least a net worth of $75 million or more. Why? Because oftentimes, if we're building these family offices, there's a lot of different pieces. There's a lot of different roles in it, and we're going to be hiring a lot of people to manage this for us, and you need some wealth for that. It takes some cost to be able to hire all those people, especially if you want the best of the best, and someone that has a net worth of $1 million wouldn't be able to afford that. But I want to talk about today about how there's ability, or this concept of a family office can be done at any level, wherever you are in that stage. So let's first talk about, we understand what a family office is, kind of high level organization, financials, and where you're at and managing those financials. But what are some of the items that a family office typically handles? I like to say investment management, tax efficiency. How are we managing our tax bill to be the most tax efficient as possible? A family office is going to handle legal affairs that are going on, or legacy planning. How is this wealth going to transfer to different parts of your generations and different things like that? What does that look like? A family office is oftentimes going to manage cash flow for that family. They might do some charitable strategy. So, what does this family care about the most, and what type of charitable type strategies can we do that? Family offices can also go to very basic things like travel arrangements and managing household staff. So if you have multiple locations and you have cleaners, chefs, butlers, chauffeurs, all these different things, a lot of times a family office, you'll have someone on your staff, someone on your team that is handling these types of things for you. And so when most people think of family office, whatever income your level, you're probably thinking that's not for me. I'm nowhere near the ability to have somebody that's doing all of these different things specifically for me. And you're probably right. A true family office is for the extremely wealthy individuals, extremely wealthy families. But what I want to talk about today is that this concept of family office can be done without having this whole team working full-time for you. You might be doing some things, and everyone's family office is going to look a little different, but you might be doing some things. You might have a vendor doing some things. You might have a family member doing other things. There is different ways to organize this to create your version of a family office, and it is available for all business owners of all sizes. It's just going to look different for every single person. And that's the same even for wealthy individuals. The way that they run and the way their operation works in a family office for extremely wealthy is not the same for every wealthy family. So that's what we want to talk about today, is first understand what is this family office, what do they do? And again, I think the core concept to understand is they manage the activity, the financials, the income, the cash flow, the things that are going on in a wealthy family. So why do small business owners need a family office? Why do I think it's so important that a small business owner starts to build this concept of family office into their everyday life? And I often like to kind of think of this as like an airplane mask. They tell you on an airplane that if the oxygen leaves the airplane, put your mask on first before helping anybody else. And this is important for business owners. You need to take care of yourself and have a long-term plan before you necessarily take care of your business. And these can be doing side by side and, be done together. But so many business owners deep dive into their business. They are so engulfed in growing their business, in working their business, that they don't step away. They don't take that time to care for themselves. All they care about is growing their business. And then I often see business owners that are so deep, so ingrained, so deep diving into this so bad that 10 to 15 years later, they look back and they have no investments because they've done everything to grow their business. They have no retirement accounts because that hasn't been on top of their mind. They have no safety net. They have no safety plan. And that is why I think it's so important that small business owners have your version of a family office. Whatever you want to call it. You don't have to call it a family office, but that concept, that idea, that organization of everything that you have going on, and having people on your team to help get that done for you is so important. So, I like to say everyone's version of a family office is going to look a little different, but you're in control of what your family office looks like. And so my goal here is for, at the very least, to have you start thinking about what steps you can start taking to create your version of your family office, because it is so important. This is going to be the thing that helps operate, helps run, helps grow your wealth, and helps create that generational wealth so that you can still focus on growing your business. That can be your specialty, but you have a team, you have a plan, you have different things around you to have this concept of creating that generational wealth. So I want to talk about some of the key components of a family office. And I like to kind of look at this as like a tool belt. Think of if you're an electrician or you're a plumber, you have this tool belt on, you have all these different things that help you do your job, and that's to be a plumber. Well, think of it as a business owner. Your job as a business owner, your job is to grow this business and really create generational wealth from this business, but you need to have a tool belt on to help people around you to help make that happen. And so the typical people that are components of a family office that we see is a tax strategist, a tax preparer, an attorney. You might have multiple attorneys, a financial advisor, a bookkeeper or an accountant, an insurance agent, and then a family board. And these are what I kind of call that core components of a family office. Let's kind of deep dive into it. What's a tax strategist going to do? This is going to be that person that's going to help make sure that you're paying the least amount of taxes legally possible each and every year. They're going to make sure that you're implementing the strategies that are available to you. Because remember, as a business owner, we talk to so many business owners, they're just not aware of what's available to them. A tax strategist is going to help make you aware of what's available and help you implement those so that you can lower your tax bill as much as possible and be super tax efficient in your growth. Because guess what? The more you save on taxes, and this doesn't necessarily mean going out and buying things you don't need, but the more you save on taxes, the more money that you have. The less amount of money you put to the government is more money in your pocket. And that can be used to grow your business, to invest, to put money towards retirement, to grow your wealth, whatever it might be. There's a lot of different ways that we can move that money around. So that's what a tax strategist comes in. A tax preparer is going to be that person that works with you, to make sure you're preparing and filing your taxes, creating accurate filings with the IRS and state agencies, helping audit proof your return, and making sure that you have clean, accurate tax returns that are being sent up to the government agencies. You then might have an attorney, and an attorney could be a business law type attorney. So they're writing contracts with you, reviewing agreements, doing all these different things. Or you might have an estate planning attorney, or a mix of multiple different types of attorneys. Estate planning attorney is going to talk to you a little bit about, okay, how do we set up a trust, a will for you to protect your family and everything else going on. But attorney is a key component of that family office. You then might have a financial advisor, and that's going to be someone that's going to help, organize your financials, making sure that you're diversified, making sure that you're investing in things that are made for you, that are unique to you. We don't necessarily want to just do what everybody else is doing. We want to find plans that are unique to our risk tolerance and what we want to invest in, and what's going to produce the type of returns that we need and want or expect for our wealth building journey. You're going to want a bookkeeper or an accountant, and this is going to be that person that works within your business, on your business for you, to create clean and accurate financial statements. You might go to another level up, where now you have a virtual CFO or a controller or somebody on staff that's helping you, analyze your financials and go even deeper with it. You're also going to want an insurance agent in your family office, and that's the person that's going to protect you, when the unforeseen things happen. So, you might be looking at property and casualty, so auto, home. You might have E&O insurance, liability insurance from the business. You might have an umbrella type policy. You might have some sort of life insurance. That's what an insurance agent is going to help kind of key that up for you. And then you're going to have a family board. And this is going to be those people that are close to you that help you make decisions. That board is that going to be that foundation that is helping you along this journey of creating generational wealth. Sometimes it's just you, your spouse, and some kids. Sometimes you might bring a good friend on it, or some of the other people in your family office might be on your board. But that family board is going to help make decisions for your family. Should we invest in this? Should we purchase this? They're going to help you make those decisions if you want them. So with all these kind of different people in your tool belt, it's important to understand that some of these roles you may do yourself. Others, you may have vendors that manage it for you. And at some point, you may hire one person that manages all these vendor relationships. You may even get to the point where you have an entire internal team that's doing these various different things. You might have a tax preparer on staff, an attorney on staff, a tax strategist on staff. But wherever you're at on your wealth building journey, you can have a family office. So, when you're first starting out, you might be the bookkeeper in your family office, and that's okay. You might be the financial advisor for your family office, and that's okay too. You get to pick and choose and design it. What we're saying is we want to have a clear picture of who's playing these roles and making sure that those roles are being taken care of. Because that can be the biggest fear. That can be the biggest detriment that can really damage and halt or slow down that ability to create generational wealth. So how do you do it? How do you get started? So, I always like to say, okay, we understand what a family office is. And hopefully, based on what we've talked about so far, you've started to envision what your version of a family office might look like. But now we have to actually take action. We talk about this so much on the podcast. We talk about this so much when we talk about tax strategies, is you need to take action. You need to take what you've learned and start to take action. So let's do that. Let's start to make that. The first step we want to do is organize your finances. Before you start bringing in all these different people to help you out, you need to have some type of organization. So organize your financials. Make sure your business and personal financials are separate. Business activity over here, personal activity over here. Have a financial summary sheet. We talked about this in a podcast earlier this month. Have a financial summary sheet that shows out here's everything that we have from an asset standpoint. Here's everything that we currently have from a debt standpoint. Here's everything we currently have from an insurance standpoint. Check out that episode there. We also have a template and guide on that within Tax that you can download as well. So first step is you want to organize your finances so you kind of have a picture of where you're at, because as you start to bring in these people and start to fill these roles, you're going to want to have a good idea of where your finances at. What does that look like today? Then step 2 is to fill your family office roles. Figure out who's going to be that tax strategist, that tax preparer, the attorneys in your team, the financial advisor in your team, that bookkeeper, an accountant, that insurance agent, that family board. Who's going to fill these roles? And again, some of these roles you might do yourself. If you're looking for a tax strategist, that's exactly why I built TaxHelm, to be that tax strategist in the back pocket of business owners. That's the role. We feel TaxHelm is a solution for that family office role. You then might have a tax preparer. Whether you prepare your own taxes, many small business owners do that, especially when they're first getting started out, and that's okay. But at some point, you're going to fill that tax preparer role with somebody else. It's going to get too complex. It's going to be too overwhelming for you to do on your own. You're going to fill that role with somebody else. Same thing with an attorney. You might just have a one-time, hey, I'm going to talk to an attorney. They're going to set up my LLC, and that's it. It's a one-time engagement and off. And that's fine. But just make sure that as you're growing, business is going to get to a point where now you're going to have an attorney on retainer. So start filling these roles in your family office. And the biggest thing that I want to talk about here is do your due diligence. Don't just fill a role to fill a role, because that doesn't accomplish anything. We want to make sure that the people that you're putting in this role make sense for you. We don't want to have a bad apple in our family office. So do your due diligence. Don't rush into this. Take it slow. Fill these roles slowly, but find the people they're going to be doing and filling these various roles within your family office, and make sure they're aligned to your vision. Where do you want to go? Where do you want your wealth to be? Where do you expect to be? And how do you want your wealth transferred? Do you want to give it all to charity? Do you want to give it all to your grandkids? What does that look like in your picture? What is that number going to be? How soon do you want to retire? What does that look like? And make sure that the people that you're putting in your family office roles are aligned with that vision. So again, fill your family office roles. Find that tax strategist. Maybe that's tax helm. Find that tax preparer, an attorney, whether it's a business attorney, estate planning attorney, or both, or just a one-time engagement. Find that person, a financial advisor. Again, this might be something you do on your own. You might invest in real estate on your own, but then you have a financial advisor that you utilize to go in the brokerage because you don't really know stock markets or anything like that. So you're going to have them invest in that to diversify a bit, but you're going to handle all your real estate investments. Whatever that looks like. You might have multiple financial advisors. Have a bookkeeper and accountant when it makes sense. Again, this can also be you in the beginning, but start to fill these roles. And the step 3 in this whole process is once we've kind of had these roles in, even if they all say you right now, that is what it is, you'll get to the point where you're starting to fill those in. But once you have these roles in, review and adjust regularly. Review these different things. What's my tax plan looking like? As a family office for just your everyday small business owner, you have to be the quarterback, or you have to be that person that is managing those people. Other people, like say the Bezos, they probably have a CEO of the Bezos family office. That CEO is the person that's managing everybody, and that CEO just talks to the family board. So whatever that is, you need to be part of that role of where you're reviewing to make sure, hey, are the people that I put in place, are they doing what we're doing? Am I paying less in taxes? Am I being more tax efficient? Great. Am I filing complete and accurate tax returns, on-time filings, and everything's going good there? Great. Do I have really buttoned up agreements that I'm not facing lawsuits or doing all these different things, and I have an estate plan set up, I have a trust that I'm operating out of, I have a will set up that's constantly being updated? Great, they're doing their job there. If I'm hiring out a financial advisor, are my investments growing? Are they doing what we'd expected? Are they the right mix of what we wanted? Great. Is my bookkeeper and accountant living up to what I'm expecting? Do I have an insurance agent that has me covered, that has me looking at, so that I don't even have to worry about sleeping at night, that if something crazy, unexpected happens, I know I'm taken care of on the insurance side? Do I have a family board set up that I trust to help make decisions with me? Review those things regularly and adjust as needed. Once your business hits to a certain point, you might flip in different roles. There's financial advisors that are great for that 0 to $1 million. But once you hit 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, maybe that advisor is not that good. Maybe you need to upgrade that a little bit. Review this regularly. And step 4 is document this. Organize this. Put this on paper. Put this down into an area where you can find it, because this helps solidify this plan to say, yes, this is my family office. These are the roles in the family office, and these are the people that are taking care of them. Document that, organize it, put it in place. And what I always say, we talked about this on our financial summary episode a few weeks ago. We talk about having something on file, put it in your safe, and just let people know that if anything does unfortunately happen to you, all of this is documented. What kind of gift would that be? Is it in the unfortunate event that you pass away and somebody has to come in and start to manage your life, or at least see where things are at? Could you imagine where they jump in, they see a financial summary document, they know all the assets they have, all the debt they have, all the insurance that you have. They then see your family board and say, okay, here's my contact for this, 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 and this. Think of how much of a gift that would be when you're passing something on. So document it and organize it. So I want to talk about, kind of a real world example to help put this in practice, because I think sometimes, we can't envision what this actually might look like for us. So, I was working with a friend who bootstrapped their business out of college. They had no savings, just a bunch of debt and a lot of hustle. They were ready to make a lot of money and wanted to just hit the ground running. So at first, they handled their own taxes. They handled the bookkeeping themselves. But as the business started to grow, so did the complexity of it. So they were, when you look at that family office, they were playing a lot of the roles. They didn't have funds to need a financial advisor for, but that business grew, and then they did. And the problem with it, I talk to a lot of business owners, is that business grows, but they never step back to be like, oh, I need to fill a role in my family office. Because when you have that family office, even if you're every single one of those roles, but you review it regularly, you're going to start to see this. Hey, I'm in need for this. Oh, I've hit the next benchmark. I'm ready for this. So this friend that I had, the business kept growing, and they hit a breaking point where they started to and needed to build their team. That's where this idea really came into place. They would have loved to have this before they hit that breaking point, but they started to build their team, which is good. They had teams of tax professionals, attorneys, advisors. Fast forward 5 years, and they now meet quarterly with their family board. They have retirement plans in place. They even bought some real estate and have income producing real estate. And And the lesson that I say in all this is you need to start small. Build as you grow, but never stop improving your setup. Your family office is going to constantly be changing, constantly be looking at different places. But start small and just continue to build as your business grows. So does your family office. The roles might change. You might add people, you might remove people, you might upgrade people. And who knows, eventually you might have someone on staff full time. You might have a whole team on staff working specifically for you. We don't know, but this is where I always say, start small, build as you grow, and always continue to review that. So to close this out, remember, every family office is going to look different. You get to choose what yours looks like. Take action and start that process now if you haven't already. If you already have some pieces in place, and this happens a lot of times when we talk to business owners about that, take the time to round out your family office. You might say, well, I've never really called it a family office, but I have a financial advisor and I have an accountant and a bookkeeper. I don't really do tax strategy. I prepare my own taxes. That's fine. You already have some of these pieces in place without even thinking about this being your family office, but round that out. Fill those roles, or at least document it and organize it. Go through the steps that we mentioned earlier in this episode and make sure you have everything organized somewhere to bring clarity and practicality to your home office or to your family office. Because when you put this on paper, when you outline this, it just helps bring that idea of like, I'm done. I've done this. I did this. And now I know what I have something solidified, and I continue to build this process out in. So if you're looking to fill that tax strategist piece of your family office, I just want to encourage you to check out TaxSum. That's why I built TaxSum, to help small business owners like you that needed assistance, needed that tax strategist in their back pocket to make sure that they're paying the least amount of taxes legally possible and that they have a tax efficient way of going about growing their business. So go to TaxSum, book a free demo with us today. Check out what we are offering. Go to taxelm.com. That's taxelm.com, and you can book a free demo with our team of membership specialists. I want to thank you for joining us for another episode and take action. Again, my encouragement here in 2025 is to take what we're talking about and not only just learn it, but also start implementation. Start small and grow from there. Thank you for joining this episode, and I'll see you next week.